All right. Well, welcome to the very first episode of All Between the Beards, the podcast where we keep it real about the messy, frustrating, and sometimes hilarious world of streaming. I'm Zach, aka That Toga One. I'm a streamer, gamer, content creator, fellow struggler, and today I want to talk to you about why streaming kind of sucks sometimes, especially when you're just getting started. I am joined today with my co-host, um, Outlaw Gaming. And
Hello.
we are also joined by a special guest, Alpha Game Tari, and we are going to talk about our worlds of where we streamed and had our struggles, our ups and downs, and our highs and lows. So, take it away, Outlaw.
Okay, so yes, I'm Outlaw. I don't know how many of you have ever watched my stream, but I do a lot of the GTA RP streaming. I do some snow runner. I've started with the game Roadcraft now. Uh, as far as my start with streaming, I started in GTRP and the OCRP server. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Bugs, Ryan, Jeff, all them. Moved to a different server. Toe and I had our own server for a little while. We called VCRP. That didn't pan out, but now I'm with Fake World RP, and that's kind of where I've settled. How about
Myself,
you?
I myself, I've been streaming, well, was streaming for about 2 years now. I recently have quit streaming just based off of, life events and things have changed, and I've had my share of trolls and people doing stuff that, you know, shouldn't have happened. We will get to that later in this broadcast here, and we'll talk more onto that. Um, but I streamed for about 2 years. I loved it. I did love every minute of it. I set up a whole setup. I have streaming rig, PC, gaming PC, everything. I have a studio pretty much in my office, and I have now changed my life course of what I want to do. How about you, Alpha?
So I started streaming about 8 months ago, if I remember correctly, right around the time that OCRP released that pier on the Del Perro pier. Oh, here we go. October 5th, 2024 was my first live stream that ran into some technical difficulties because I had just started and was still figuring things out. Still am right now as we speak. Started off in OCRP, did that for a few months before I started streaming. Then went over to VCRP with Outlaw and Toe here and enjoyed that. Had some fun over there, and that's when a friend of mine suggested that I should get into Fake World, and this place is amazing. The staff are incredible and friendly, do not mind getting messed with, and made a bunch of new friends. And it's a really awesome place. And have people who would be like, hey, I noticed this problem with your stream, and they've been helping me out to more perfect my craft into doing it. And I really appreciate it. And yeah, I used to stream other games. I want to try and get back into that. But yeah, that's been me so far.
Well, our next topic is tech hell. Um, all of us know that we've gone through our fair share of tech issues. My gaming PC, I still have a rattling sound anytime I'm playing a game. When it's just sitting here at idle, nothing. I don't know what's wrong with it. I've thought about a fan, I've thought about that, I've thought about this, nothing. Um, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So I upgraded to where I have two PCs and I have my streaming rig with a Elgato capture card and going to my gaming PC. Monitors was another issue that I had. I was getting such crappy quality that I had to upgrade monitors. I upgraded to a 2K monitor. I have a crappy camera. Um, OBS issues. I had significant issues with OBS, so I switched to Streamlabs. Has always been great for me ever since then. Bitrate, that was another big thing that I had issues with. Um, I also, one night, I left my TikTok live on. After I got off stream, I left it on. And because I minused out of the page, and normally I leave it up on my screen, I minused out of the page, and I left it on. I sat here talking with Outlaw for 2 hours after the stream, and then I went to bed. I woke up to messages after messages after messages. Hey, you left your stream on. Hey, you left your stream on. And I guess there was a bunch of people watching my stream, just an empty chair just sitting there. And I guess somebody said that the chair moved in the middle of the night, and they were all creeped out by what was going on. So that has happened. Um, Not my best moments, but hey, you know what? Everybody lives, everybody learns. We make mistakes. How about you, Outlaw? What kind of tech hell have you gone through in your
Well,
time of streaming?
it's kind of one of these things that when I started off with OCRP, I was just on this old laptop, and it was a laptop I've had around. It's been decent to me over the years. Because I have my side business where I do like 3D printing and like laser engraving and stuff like that on the side. That computer was great for those purposes, but it really wasn't a gaming PC. But I mean, I used it nonetheless. But like on my end, like watching my game quality, it almost looked like the old San Andreas quality on my screen at times. And it brought up like some desync issues and everything for me on server. Eventually, I saved up a bit of money and got a decent gaming PC. It's nothing special, but it gets the job done, and that's what I'm using right now. Maybe down the line I'll upgrade it more, but that's really where I'm at with the equipment. I don't have anything special that I don't think most anybody else wouldn't have here. Um,
Unless you're me.
Unless you're you, yeah. Toe's got to go a little
with,
extra on everything here.
with over $10,000 in a setup.
Yeah, and I don't think you've ever told me about that night you left your stream on, and that kind of makes me worry sometimes
Oh,
because you
oh
don't.
yeah, yeah.
I never knew about it. That's something new. As soon as I
Oh
heard the
yeah.
chair move by itself, I'm like, nope.
Oh yeah, because no, 'cause, that was always the thing. Whenever we were done streaming, we'd stay on and we'd start talking about all the stuff that we didn't want to talk about on stream.
Yeah, I had to rewatch that whole entire stream just to hear what we talked about after I got off the game. And we didn't say really anything bad, but I'm glad that there
Well,
was things that I would normally do after I get off stream that I did not do that night. Like normally what I would do is after a stream, after I got off, it's really hot in my office, so I'd take like my shirt off. I'd take my pants off, because it's hot. I'm sweating. So I'd take my clothes off and just sit here in my boxers and sitting at my computer and talking with my friends.
by the way,
Weird,
thank
I
you for
know.
that visual.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed to know what that looks like
Yeah,
now.
No, no,
you're
don't don't
welcome.
don't say that because he'll still send you the pictures.
No, I'm
But no,
good.
no. A lot of the thing though, on a more serious note too, though, is just like Toe and I, because like you know there's a lot of good people on there, but like there were certain people on there where you'd have your grievances about, and like it's really something you don't talk about on stream.
Yep,
You don't. That's not something you do. You don't go talk bad about other people on stream or public. Like you can discuss it behind like your opinions behind the screens, but you really don't want to make people look bad. So
exactly.
that's the main reason why we would shut off the stream a lot of times.
And Alpha, I know you've had some tech hell with your microphone and stuff like that, so let's bring you in on this. What all have you had issues with that you've upgraded or done differently now that you're learning these extra tips and tricks?
Few of those issues I'm still trying to figure out, but The one that I'm most known for back on OCRP was my microphone. My audio would bleed through, like the sirens, anybody
Yep.
talking in the background,
Yep.
etc., etc.
I remember that.
And it only happened on game and on the radio. Didn't happen anywhere else. Only
I,
these two places. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And no one knew how to fix it. Google wasn't help. Uh,
should try chat GPT.
uh, yeah, that. Well, I actually asked Google Gemini. Tried all their fixes, didn't really do anything. Someone from OCRP, I forget who they were. I don't know, 180 or something. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what the heck was going on. And I just said, screw it. I'll get a microphone by itself that's not connected to my headset because I always had that standard headset with a microphone, and that was probably what was causing the issues. And since then, haven't had that issue again.
Because you went and got a Hyper Quadcast, didn't you? Or did you get the whole Hyper Solo Cast?
The quad got
Okay.
the red one.
Yep, that's the same one that I have. I actually have two of them. Let's not talk about that though. All right. So we're gonna move forward to nobody watches, right? So I've gone through 2 years of streaming. Um, nobody watching. First year, first like 3 months, 4 months, nobody was watching. I had maybe 1 to 2 viewers. Um, and it was kind of crushing. I could not. I didn't want to do it. And then when I got into 5M again, because I was streaming when I first started streaming, I was doing mostly ATS. And actually, I did really good with ATS. I started getting, more and more viewers, but I would go all night long. I'd be up from like, I'd start streaming at 7:30. I wouldn't get off stream until 7:30 in the morning. And so viewers would come in, and I was only streaming on TikTok at the time. And then I dropped from my normal like 15, 20 viewers on TikTok and people viewing and commenting and talking all night long to I dropped to like maybe three or four. And I was like, this isn't working. I need to switch it up. So I started trying to do Call of Duty, streaming Call of Duty, playing Warzone. It did okay for maybe a couple weeks, and then it went to 0 to 1 really quick. So then I needed to make another change. I needed to figure out something else that I knew that I could do better and better my streaming. I went to 5M. I started my own server, started building it. I had a group of people that were with me that were working together, and it was before I got into OCRP. Um, Started building a server. I built this amazing server. The first server that I built, it was amazing. A lot of good people, a lot of issues too with people, and then we moved forward into getting growing. We had nights where we had 20, 30 people on in a night, and then it just drastically dropped, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to have a 5M server anymore. And then I got accepted into OCRP. So then I moved to, hey, I'm going to just play on OCRP. I started streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time as TikTok. TikTok was still low on views. But when I first started 5M on TikTok, I went from like 3,000 followers to 11.5 in I would say like 7 months, less than 7 months. I had one night I was in the middle of my stream and I looked over at my computer, or my other screen, and I seen that I had 300 people watching at one time. And I was like so amazed, so surprised, and I was so happy and energetic. I was getting follower after follower after follower, and then everything just went dark. And I'm like, what just happened? I look over at my screens. I try to turn my computer back on. I even like I looked up, my light was off, and I'm like, did my breaker just fucking pop? Did like 300 people watching my stream really just do that? And then I look outside and it's like really dark and eerie outside and I don't see no street lights, no nothing. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, then I got up out of my chair and I walked outside and my phone was dead, like almost dead. I walk outside and sure enough, my power was out. The whole neighborhood, everybody's power was out. And I'm like, well, shit, my phone's dead. So I jumped in my truck, I plugged my phone in, I started charging up my phone, and I got onto my TikTok live and I commented on there and I said, "Hey, my power went out. Sorry guys, no more live tonight." I didn't even have time to end the live because it was my power just went out. Now I bought a battery backup because I don't want my power to go out in the middle of streaming or in the middle of doing something. So now if my power does go out, I have battery backup. My computer stays on for about 10 minutes, if that. So I went from 300 viewers in a live, and even nights after that, I was pushing a total amount of views like 20,000 a night to then it dropped drastically. It just dropped. And then I went live one night, and the whole night I only had 5 people watching, and I literally cried. Because I didn't know what I was doing differently. I wasn't doing anything differently, and um, that just it happened. I fought it off, and then I got on OCRP, started streaming to YouTube and stuff, and then I dealt with another person doing some dumb shit that I lost my monetization for a while. I got it back, but I still didn't want to stream after that. I felt so down on myself, and then I changed my course of my life. I will bring Outlaw into on this one because he does stream to 1 to 0 viewers. How does it make you feel?
I've never really been coming into this with the attitude that I'm here to be YouTube famous or anything like that. I've always been amongst the attitude that I just want to get on here, have a good time, and I'm going to stream if people want to watch me and join me. You know, that's what it's going to be about for me. I'm not saying when I get new viewers and stuff like that, it's still cool. I appreciate it. Somebody goes and clicks that subscribe, and it's like, okay, I'm doing something that they enjoy. It means a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, I've never been like big into the numbers. I think the most I've gotten some good nights before. When some more popular streamers have done like raids and stuff like that. Um, Still something I got to figure out how to do. I haven't figured that one out yet because I'd like to when I get offline, throw my 1 or 2 viewers to somebody else. Uh, but a lot of times I think that they just go to jump to somebody else's stream anyways. But yeah, it's like I said, it's really just something here for me to kill time, enjoy. Like when I'm home at night. Like I said, I do some other games. Like I'll do SnowRunner. I've been getting into Roadcraft a bit. Like SnowRunner is kind of cool because if I do that, my son will join me. We'll have some fun on there. He's not really into the whole RP thing though, so he's hasn't really been a part of that. I know Toe and I have both bugged him to get online, but it's just not what it is. Just for me, as far as like the headaches here of streaming, it's a lot of times it's just you know sometimes when you've just had a long day, just the idea of getting on might seem like a chore at night, and it's like, I'm just gonna chill out and do something else, and it's like that's kind of a hurdle I think sometimes you get to where it's like you can't get yourself too much into that mindset where it starts feeling like work to do it. You
Yep.
just got to do it for the fun of it.
Yep. Alpha, what about you, man?
Ooh, I- it's sort of sporadic for me. I started out, like you said, maybe 1, 2, 3, if I'm lucky, 4 or 5 viewers per stream. And then, as we all know, I did that one live stream with on the recording server in OCRP where Bugs and Ryan were doing their recording session. It was down in the city, and I just blew up. My subscriptions doubled. I had like 1,000 people watching. I'm just like, holy shit. And then ever since then, hasn't really been the same. I've had nights here or there when I'd get a few hundred views before the end of a stream, but those are really random occurrences, and it's just, honestly, it is demoralizing a bit. And some nights I'm just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'll just get on and play, but it's just like, I don't, yeah, can't speak right now. Don't go into this wanting to be like with the objective that I want to be some big YouTuber where I could do this full time and live off the money I get from it. I mean, not to say that if I
That'd be
got
nice.
someone like Markiplier and making a lot of money, I wouldn't be grateful. I wouldn't appreciate it and keep doing it for the people who support me. But like you said, I'm doing it just so everyone has a good time, hang out, chat, talk about, your life issues, be like, hey, what's going on? It'll be okay, that sort of thing. And that's how I've been doing it relatively like that way. Sometimes I try to mix it up and be the funny guy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just when you
I
don't see a
remember.
lot of people watching, it just sucks the soul out of you. And it just like, do I want to keep doing this?
I remember the few funny moments that we've had. You driving a Taurus at Mock Jesus and rolling it and flipping it and crashing it.
Yeah, I tried to go around that look on the right side, and the car going left just didn't want to turn, and that's why, we went off the hill. And whenever we did 10-12, Toe would never let me drive again after that.
Shooting an unarmed civilian when they had their hands
That
up.
was an accident. Their hands weren't up.
Killed him
They
too.
got out with a gun. His hands didn't move, and I reacted on instinct.
Killed him too. Oh, bad boy. And then tasing an innocent person that was free to go.
I didn't hear he was free to go, damn it. I am taking that to my grave. I did not know he was free to go. I
think
promise I did not hear that.
I think it's worth mentioning here that Toe, Alpha, and I all were pretty much like the same entrance class into OCRP.
Yeah.
And I think the first time we all had a scene together was Carl Yancey was throwing snowballs at people, and you guys got
Oh my
mad.
God.
And you guys,
Yeah,
you
I
guys,
think that's how we all met each other. Was that one scene
Toe ended up
is
stabbing me, Carl Yancey, and then after that, the two characters were best friends.
Yep.
yeah.
We always
We all became best friends that day, pretty much.
I
Yeah, and
think
then
anytime
Toe
Toe
just
and
walks up to Derailed, I think it was, and like, aren't you supposed to read main rights, and just annoyed him out of the parking lot.
I remember that.
Just have a good day, sir,
Yeah.
and just drives away.
That was great. That's the moments that like, and I'm moving on a little bit here, and it's
Yeah.
gonna go a little bit further, and then we're gonna come back a little bit. That's the moments that were the best. The laughs, the fun times, the constant just bullshittery that we've done, and that we can sit here and just talk about and have a good time about it is like is my best moments of streaming. Is just not the people coming in and watching my lives or anything like that, but coming in and seeing the reactions that like other people have from their point of view. So like our situation where you were throwing snowballs at us and I ended up stabbing you, Outlaw. It was like
Then breaking his phone and throwing it into the pool.
I did not do that.
But that was always the storyline between those two characters. When we met other people, we're talking about being friends, and it always turned out with Carl saying, "We became friends after he stabbed me."
Yeah. Why
Me
would
and
you
Outlaw
stab your
became
friend?
friends when he got shot with a flare gun on the Boar Grills experience.
Yeah, That was pretty much Alpha and I's first like big RP together.
I think that was me and Outlaw's first RP, and met Toe Guy during that hotel encounter.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Because I've seen you before in game, but we never actually like RP'd much together. But
No,
that
I
was
think
like
we
the
might have
first.
had like a small talk here and there, but nothing like a
Yep.
main
I,
interaction.
I
Yeah.
think
The
coming
not.
in, I think coming in like when you're like that new, you're kind of like feeling around before you kind of settle into where
Yeah,
you're
you're
at, you
kind of
know?
like still like a
Yeah.
month or two in, you're still like feeling the water, seeing how everything works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go around stabbing nobody until I started stabbing people, because I was like, oh, other people can get away with this. So you know what? I would go around and
Yeah,
I'd,
it
I'd be
took
in
me
the
like
yellow.
3 months before I finally stabbed a player, and I'm just like mouth agape. I'm like, oh my god, I did that.
I would go into the Yellow Jack parking lot, and there would be a bunch of people there. They'd be all inside. I'd go through and I'd stab everybody's tire, and then I'd walk in and be like, "Oh, nothing happened." And then there was a guy that was charging money, a cover charge, and I I ended up stabbing him in that situation, and because he wouldn't give me my money back, and the dude messaged me later and was like, "Oh, you killed the RP, blah blah blah," and like flipping out on me, and I'm like, "Dude, you took I under," and he was like, "It's fake money, like you shouldn't have done that,
It's
blah
a
blah
fake
blah," and I'm
stabbing.
like,
Sorry.
"Yeah, it's a fake stabbing," but at the same point, it's like you took money from a person, even though it was fake money, right? You took money from a person and you were charging a fake cover charge, a bullshit cover charge. You wouldn't give the money back, so then the player stabbed you. Like, what? What?
Like, what made me? Not everyone's going to stab you, admittedly, but you're going to eventually, your luck's going to run out. You're going to run into that one person who's going to stab or shoot you, and it
Exactly.
just happened to be you.
Exactly. Um, so we've got a little bit off topic, so
A little bit. I have a
we're gonna
feeling this
move.
podcast is going to have a lot of tangents over its
Yeah.
lifespan.
So we're gonna move on to our next segment here, the learning curve. I didn't realize, and at first, when I first started, I just started out with a PC and one monitor and a little, like a school monitor, like a school computer monitor. You know what those look like? The HP monitors or whatever that are on like one little stand that you can slide up and down. That's what I started on. But I didn't realize that this was going to be a mini production. Um, that I upgraded a lot of my stuff as I went. I upgraded monitors. I got two 32-inch monitors. Um, I upgraded my computer to a way better computer. I upgraded my desk. I went from this small little itty bitty desk to now an L-shaped desk that's got cool little light features and stuff like that on it. I needed a webcam. I put a webcam into my streams. I added a ring light. Um, I added a second computer towards the end, right before I quit. Um, a hyper quadcast mic that I'm using right now to record this. Um, a, a second, like pretty much a second setup, but still hooked up to the same computer across from my office with it, which is my, um, with my shifter, my what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank here, guys.
I don't know.
I'm
You're the one
drawing a
What are
describing
you
blank.
it.
trying to think of, bud?
Steering
Simulator
wheel?
rig.
Simulator.
Simulator.
Ah, like a driving seat sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I set that up on the other side of my office, ran two HDMI cords over to my gaming rig, so then I can play like American Truck Simulator or iRacing for that matter. I added even stuff to that. I added a bigger steering wheel for American Truck Simulator, a button box that has, your parking brakes and all that, and a CB radio and uh,
You
12
have the
or
trucker
18
cap.
speed Eaton full. Yeah, pretty much. But
You
I
went
didn't.
full legit.
I
Oh
think
yeah, no, I'll have to send you a picture of it. It's a full legit setup. It's badass, but at the same point, I'm like, I don't play enough anymore that I literally my computers just are off most of the time. But but I didn't know that I'm going to be a host, an editor, marketer. I have to market my own streams. I have to edit videos, cut down clips to where I can post them on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or this, that, and the other. That I struggled. I struggled doing all that myself and never really had any help with it. And then I just, after my last incidents that I had with, you know, I'm assuming he's a troll. But my first incident with a troll was even worse. Um, but then my second incident, he sent over $500 in gifts and stuff, which I told everybody, I do not expect money out of this. I don't. You can send $1, you can send $5. I don't care. I'm gonna thank you the same, but I don't need it. I did not need it. You just being there and talking and being supportive in that way was enough for me. Um, but he sent a boatload of money. Well, then I'm assuming because I watched my monetization status, where on YouTube it shows you how much you've earned. I watched that money start dropping. It went from like almost $600 to $400 and then $300 and then $100 and then it just disappeared because YouTube um, took away my monetization status due to they said deceptive activities. Um, I wasn't doing anything, but then I went and filed my appeal with YouTube, and I won the appeal because they seen that he sent all that money, and then I'm assuming he didn't actually have the money and charged his card back or did whatever, and he got his money back. I didn't get any of it, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not mad. Um, but it started a whole shitstorm of stuff afterwards that I didn't want to deal with it anymore, and I just pretty much shut down and didn't get back on. Um, and I miss my friends because Alpha all used to play a bunch of games together, and I miss my friends, and I didn't have that really anymore. So, what about you guys? How do you guys feel about the learning curves that you guys have had to deal with
Oh yeah,
in
there's
your time of
definitely
streaming?
a learning curve. Like I said, when I came in, I was like green into RP. I don't know, Alpha. I think you were kind of green into it. I know, Toe, you've had more experience. I've had some ups and downs early on. Just it's about improving, making yourself better. You make mistakes, but just learn from them. Don't do them again. Yeah, I think really, a lot of the learning curve is just respecting other players. Like a lot of the things you don't, you might not think you've done something that would upset somebody, but then you realize later, yeah, but then you go back to that person. If you think you've done something wrong, apologize. The funny thing is, though, if you do, 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and say, "Oh no, I thought it was hilarious." Most people thought it was funny, but like, you kind of get your conscience on that, and like, and they respect you if you apologize, even if you did uh, if you did do something wrong. I think I'm gonna say most people, not all the people on there, were pretty good about it. And I'm gonna kind of bounce off what you said. Yeah, missing your friends because that's a lot. A lot. You don't. Another thing you don't realize, you get on there and like these are the people that you're hanging out with for a couple hours a night. They become your friends pretty quickly. And like you got your characters you play and everything. You have fun, but then like you get on like the server discords and everything afterwards, start chatting, laughing about what you did, going back and forth. Watch. It's always fun. You go back and forth, watch each other's streams and videos to kind of see like things from different perspectives and everything. That's always fun. But yeah, the biggest learning curve is just like I said, learning how to be a good player and seeing where you fit in.
Yeah. See, I have a question for both of you. I'm gonna ask it to each of you. So Outlaw, what is things that you wish you knew before starting streaming?
Before starting streaming,
Yeah.
well, I mean, like I said, like there's some of the things I wish I would have known. Like, this is a good question, and I don't know the answer offhand, but let me just kind of BS my way through it here, if I will. Um,
Okay.
but
Well, if you want, we can hold that, and I can
well, I'm
have
going to say,
Alpha answer his portion.
a lot of things. It's just like just focus on doing what you think is the right thing on there, and trust your own judgment over other people's judgments. Um, that's really going to be your best way. Just I used to say this when we were in VCRP because I didn't want to be like one of these like owners that was always pissed off at everybody, and sometimes it came to it, but like, just the biggest thing is just I always said on there is just don't be an asshat. It's
Yeah,
crude, but it's true.
yeah, it's true. Alpha, what about you, man? Things that you wish you would have known before starting streaming.
Um, quite a bit, actually. I'm not sure where to start, to be honest. Ooh.
We'll just start out with something simple.
Just what kind of people I would encounter. People like Careful or someone else who watches both of our streams, Sid. Not that they're bad people. Oh, hell no, they're not bad. They're lovely people to have in the stream. It's like those other people and the one you talked about, the one that backcharged all their cards and everything, like knowing that you would encounter people like that. And
Yeah, just
when
just to mention
you're
just to mention that one more time, real quick. He changed his YouTube name again.
Yeah, he's done it quite a few times. I think there was a night he was in Alpha stream under like some like panda name or something like that.
Yeah, sorry. You can continue what you were
Yeah.
talking about though.
no, yeah, you're good. I noticed it too, and personally, I just like to. My approach is I just want to keep any of that drama out of my stream. Like nothing against you, Toe. Like I agree. Like what
Yeah,
happened
I
was
get that.
ridiculous and everything. It's just until the drama comes my way, I just want to stay away from it because until I have to be involved, I don't even want to talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I apologize then, and I'll do it again because I know that night he came in, started talking crap. I got a little heated in there, and I'm like, yeah, it was your stream. Yeah, I should have, but like,
oh
you know,
yeah, he was talking crap, and I was just like, I was saying it to everybody, not just you,
no,
not just
no,
them.
I know you were
Like,
saying it to
dude,
everybody,
let's
but I
stop it.
realized I
Stop
was part
talking
of it.
about it. I'm gonna start timing people out if you don't shut up.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't say that, but pretty much what I thought.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's
like
why when I came in there and I was like, I hear people are talking shit. I felt bad for it, but at the same point, I just found it funny that people are still talking about it, even though it's been,
yeah.
my
That
last upload was 3 months ago.
that's always a bit of a line too. I think in streaming because I care about anybody who takes the time to come into my stream and everything like that. I care about their lives and everything like that. It's like at some point, it's like you got to care for them, but you also got to say let's not bring the whole room down either.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, and that's what I try to do. Like I try to be a friendly, like I say hi to everyone. Mention them directly, be like, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome on in." Especially the new subscribers. And just give them a place to like not necessarily be like, "Hey, I'm depressed. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that." That doesn't fly with me. It's just like, are you having a rough day? Let's talk about the generalness of it, not specifically like going in depth about it, like too in depth and being graphic, but just like, give them a place to be like, thank you for supporting me and everything. And you're a really nice person. And I don't know how to say it. Like, thank you for, how do I say it? How do I say it? Like, I don't know when someone's having a bad day, you want to be there, be like, hey, I'm sorry you're feeling this way. I wish there was a way I could help. Do you want to just talk about it and be like, hey, you could try doing this? I don't want to be one of those streamers that be like, hey, don't come in here and talk about your issues. You're going to be banned or whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, everyone has a rough day. Like, just let them be like, hey, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think like what I and I appreciate people having, because I, God knows, I've had my share of things that have bothered me in the life, but I like to try to think of, like, my I like to try to think of my streams as just being an escape from life. Like, let's just
Yeah, that's what
have
I tried to do
yeah,
too.
just let's just get in
Oh,
here, have some good time. Let's not worry about the worries of the real world.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so we've kind of already talked about this a little bit, why I'm still doing this. So we've gone over the funny moments, funny chats, stuff like that. And what is let's do it this way, Outlaw, what is one funny moment from your time of streaming that you look back on and say, I wish I could do this again?
Oh, I think a lot of you, if you've watched my stuff, have probably seen the Dr. Ken Graves. Alpha knows Dr. Ken Graves. Actually, we had a little bit of an encounter last night, but like,
oh, we need
I,
to get together and like just be like
but
a doctor's
but
assistant or something. I'd love to
I
join you
think
on that one of
my
these days.
no, and I'm more than willing to do that. But like, I think my two best nights ever. Well, I don't think one of the nights was even streaming. It was before I was streaming. It was the But two of my most fun nights on RP have been with Dr. Ken Graves. I don't use him a heck of a lot because it's like, a lot of times if nothing goes on, then his RP is really boring. But like, when stuff is gold, it's gold. Like, the first night we brought him out, Toe, you remember that? These are both nights I've RP'd with Toe. Um, where we had a couple other people with us. We had he who should not be named. Uh, and we had God, what was her name? I know her name. It's a bird name. Toe. You know who I'm
Uh,
talking? I
Sparrow?
Sparrow. Yeah. And we had somebody else. I can't remember everybody who was involved, but we did the bad doctors. And we had this ambulance. And we had like four of us, I think. And we're going
Oh my
around.
God.
Oh, we literally, we'd go head on with other cars and we'd take the people to the hospital. And
Oh
we
my
started.
God, I remember
We had
that.
a whole med center of bad doctors, and like, eventually the
Oh, we
cops
need to do that again.
the cops showed up, and like, it turned into a thing, and like, I think you all got busted on scene, but I ended up escaping and going on a bit of a car chase, but still got busted. Uh,
There was Dr. Ken Graves,
and you were
Ken
Dr.
Graves
Ken Graves,
Jr.
and you were my son, my biological son of a different race.
Hey, we were both bald though. Okay,
Yes,
that was
can't
the
it
best
was
part. We
can't you
were
see
both
the
bald.
resemblance? I think the other night that we did together, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot you're my son. but but no, that other night it was me and Toe, and we were just getting away with, like, time and time again, and it was like, I don't think you and I stopped laughing that whole stream. It was like,
No,
it started
no.
off. We got I can't remember the guy's name, and this was OCRP, but the guy, he always does like the old psychologist. And
Oh, you're talking about fucking Just Bro.
was that
He
who it
was
is?
was it the one in the hospital, like we were at the apartment complex thing,
It was that
and he
motel.
was in
We
the
set up that
yeah,
motel room.
and he was
Well,
in the UPS van or whatever it was,
yeah.
the
Well,
Go Postal van.
what had originally started, because we were way up in Sandy. We convinced him to go for the operation. We took him around. We took him. Well, he wanted to stop at the convenience store, so we stopped at the
Oh wait,
one
no, you're
on.
talking
We
about the
stopped.
old. You're talking about the old man. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. And
So
we took his hand.
we end up we stopped at the convenience store we want to stop, and this was Aunt Marge was an OCRP at that point. I don't know if she's still a member there or not, but Aunt Marge was the clerk, and she was doing God, I can't remember her clerk, but her clerk is hilarious. But yeah, we took him down. We uh we set up this whole motel room into an operation room down there at this like bad part of down off of like near Grove Street, not on Grove, but near Grove Street. Uh, and we like took stuff from we like took his arm, put a prosthetic arm, and like but like we got in these police chases because we ended up just dropping his body off at the 24/7. He was still alive, but we dropped him off at the LTD on Grove, and we ended up getting chased. I don't remember because we were just getting out of things left and right, and like we came back to the one same spot where we ditched the van. They never had it towed, and our van was back there again. Then we were getting chased up the highway, and we ended up getting out the side door of the van, and the police officer didn't notice, and we ran off. We finally just like set it up. You know what? They've been chasing us all night. We did just kind of a last stand on that fire station roof.
Yep.
And the grandson of the guy that we took his organs and arms showed up, and like we ended up knocking him off the roof. And
Oh, I remember that scene.
oh,
I
you
was one
remember?
of the LEO for it.
Oh, were you down there? No, it's like
Yeah,
we're
I
up
would
there.
think I had the rifle, I think it was.
We were up there because the guy was calling us saying he needed medical advice. He came up there and he goes, actually, you took my grandfather. I don't remember the words exactly, but he's like, you took my grandfather's arm and organs, and we were here to get even with you. And then the other guy's like, yeah, I'm here to help. So I just pulled out it was a switchblade on the game, but I just RP'd it was my little scalpel, and I stabbed them both. They come off, and I think toe ended up falling off, and then I, out of distress, fell off looking over the side. But yeah, those were probably my two most fun nights.
What about you, Alpha? What's
Ooh.
one fun thing that you can think of that you really loved about your streaming?
Oh, I have so many good moments. I have so many good moments I could talk about, and I could talk about them for hours if I wanted to. But I think it was the last 10, 12 we did before I got the boot from that place. We were doing the sheriffs, and they were starting this car show at the Sandy Motel, and there was this guy in the gray Porsche, the silver Porsche, and we just pulled up in our Charger, and he's like, no, 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 get that dirty thing out of here. And he had the yellow tinted headlights, and I'm just like, oh, it looked like someone pissed on him. And he's just like all offended, like, excuse me. And then we went to the gas station up the road, 1020 Flywheels, and we were trying to see how dirty we could get the car. Unfortunately, it didn't work, so we went back there with a clean car, and I had RP'd buying a bottle of turtle wax headlight cleaner, and then Toe just goes up and just removes the tint off his headlights, and we're just trolling the shit out of this dude.
Yep, I remember that.
That's always like
Oh, that
that's
was
always
such a
fun. Is
funny
like
moment.
when
And
you get
then I
somebody
think
who's
it
in
was
on it.
who was it? Kevin Colton just ended up stealing the dude's Porsche right in front of him. It's just like he stole that dude's Porsche.
I remember that.
I think we all have Colton stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so do I. I joined the Colton family with my Nathaniel character, and I think it was the Colton family reunion was the first one, and the second one was a mobile firing range where it'd be like, hey, instead of you going to the firing range, we'll bring the firing range to you, okay? And then I just got this flatbed, put hay bales on it and targets, and literally drove to anyone, anywhere, even to the middle of Sandy. We drove to a middle of Sandy and let a lady fire at it towards the hospital, and just made 911 call to be like, hey, it sounds like war over here. Where the hell are the police?
Yep.
One note about the Coltons: always make sure you call them Triple C, not Double D.
I always called him Triple C, and then I just started going beyond that and like using every letter that sounds like C. So like triple D, triple E, triple Z.
Yeah, I'd always call him Triple D for Colton. I'd always call him Double D,
I
and
think
he'd always get pissed off. And I think one of our last one of our last 10-12s, both Colton brothers ran from us, and then they wrecked out on Route 68, and I got hit in the head with a baseball bat because I ended up shooting at him and I missed, and then I hit in the head with a baseball bat. So that was fun.
Don't think I remember that one, unless that was the 10-12 of Outlaw.
Mm-mm. It might have actually been Outlaw that I was
is it.
10-12 with.
I don't know. I think the last time we at 10-12 dealt with the Coltons, I think we had arrested. I think we arrested Triple C, and we were. I think the topic just turned into talking about maple bars.
Ah, I remember
And
that.
he said he didn't like
No,
maple bars.
it might have been with you. It might have actually been the night that it was your last night
That was a
on
city night.
OTRP.
That was a city night, I remember,
Oh, it
because
was.
that's because I had that pipe break in my basement, and I had to go down. I had to get off early and go take care of that pipe. And
I'll have
well,
to I'll have to find the video then, because I know I still have the video up on my YouTube, but I'll have to find the video and see what it was, because I know they ran from us in a truck and they wrecked out on 68 by the prison right before the car dealership and Harmony Repair, and he got out, and I think one of whoever it was, my partner was down, and I called it over the radio, officer down, and then he got out, pulled out had a baseball bat and smacked me in the fucking head with it. We had Air One above us too, and they were like, all I heard over the radio was, he just got out with a bat and hit one of the officers in the head, and we have two officers down, and you just hear a bunch of shots going off, and one of them, I think it was Double D, he got shot a bunch of times because he hit me in the head with a baseball bat. But so I would like to uh, say this, and this is going to be the end of the first episode. But if you've gone through this struggle, I'd love to hear your story. You can DM me. You can DM me on Discord. That's Togai1. I don't know if you guys can add me yet. If not, I'm gonna put a link to the Discord for the podcast in the description of the podcast, so you guys can join and you can talk with us there.
we'll make
You
sure we put links to all of our YouTubes and Discords on there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, my
All of
DM's
our
open. You want to talk about things, Q&A, just hit me up.
Yep, all of our contact info will be in the description of the episode. Next week we're going to be talking about more things to do with streaming. We'll be talking about streaming on a budget, or all the gear mistakes I made. Trust me, you don't want to buy $100 microphone when your Wi-Fi is held together by duct tape. I did have that for a little bit,
Fucking
but
agreed.
now I have 1 gig fiber and I love it. So, but you guys can also share that stuff with us and ask us questions and go further into detail. You can
We're
also leave us you can message us that way. What were you gonna say, Outlaw?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I was gonna say we'll also. I mean, if you guys have suggestions on topics, like we'll take any of them into consideration. Honestly,
Yeah, and if you guys have like any topics that you want us to discuss, you can put that in the Discord, and we will gladly talk about them in future episodes. Um, we're going to try to have another guest appearance for next week for our next episode. So we're going to reach out to a few of our friends that also are streamers that can, kind of elaborate on a few topics of the next episode and stuff like that. So definitely follow along, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment if that's your sort of thing. If not, we understand. But thank you guys for listening to All Between the Beards. I'm the bearded devil over here. My co-host, Outlaw. He's also
I'm
a
the
bearded
bearded
devil.
angel.
And we will see you guys in future
Uh,
episodes and talk
yeah,
and,
and
and
I
love talking with
also
you guys more.
one last before we go, I want to give special thanks to Alpha Game Tari for joining us. I'm sure we'll have him on again soon because
No problem, bud. Be
we're
happy
three
to
peas
join
in
you
a
again.
pod here.
Yeah.
403 and
Yeah, we all
Yancey are
got
best
beards
buddies.
if you count my Brillo pad chin as a beard.
Well,
We gotta get a face. We gotta get a face reveal.
yeah. Well,
Since I'll do a face
until you have
reveal.
a huge beard, you can't be the host. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I can't grow a Jesus chin.
Jesus, Chin. There we go. That's it. But yeah,
And
thanks everybody for joining us.
funny thing is, you guys haven't seen my beard in a while. It's double the size of what it was last time.
I seen it the other day when you accidentally flipped your camera.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Have a good day,
Okay.
everyone. See ya.